Welcome to Global Village. We are airing today the program from Red Roof Studio from Dutch, and very honored to have the opportunity to air from the studio today. We are also very honored to have EID team, Margot and Neil. Welcome to the program, please.
Good to be here.
Okay, Margot, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and the EID as well?
Okay, well, I am the Corporate Relations Advisor for the Eastern Irrigation District. The Eastern Irrigation District is a farmer-run organization. It's legislated through the Irrigation Districts Act through the province of Alberta to operate. Its primary mandate is to deliver irrigation water to the agricultural producers in this area surrounding brooks within the county of Newell.
Wow. Okay, that's great. Neil, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for EID?
Well, right now I don't do much for the EID. I'm a former board member. Was on there for 20 years.
Wow.
Currently running my own farm, which I always did, and I've been involved in agriculture in this area my whole life.
Wow. So what kind of agriculture?
Through the course of it all, everything, from cattle to now it's cash crop, but a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Is it within this vicinity or?
All within the county of Newell and the EID, some grassland that we used to manage in other areas, but mostly within the EID has been the prime focus of our agriculture.
Okay, Margaret, the EID, you mentioned that was formed sometime long time, and their prime mandate is to deliver water to the irrigation system of the farm.
That's right.
So how far they reach? Is it all the county? Is it?
The administrative boundaries of the Eastern Irrigation District are essentially the same boundaries as the county of Newell.
Mm-hmm.
So we are about 1.5 million hectares, so we're quite large.
Mm-hmm.
Within that, we have private property that is owned by the EID itself. That amounts to about 600,000 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Most of that is in native prairie rangeland. And then the balance of the land within that area is owned by operators like Neil, family farms, and corporate farms. And it's cultivated or it is still in grasslands for those cattle producers in the area that haven't cultivated their lands.
So what happened then prior to the EID? What was the delivery system of the water before the EID?
Before the EID, the CPR actually owned and operated the irrigation system in this area. So in 1914, the CPR finished the construction of the Bazzano Dam, which is located just outside the town of Bazzano here, as well as a number of canals, the Brooks Aqueduct, and it was all quite an extensive plan to bring water to this area so that the CPR could then settle this area with homesteaders back at the turn of the century.
So when you say CPR, you're referring to?
The Canadian Pacific Railway.
Okay.
So from 1914 until about 1935, the CPR did own and operate the irrigation delivery system, which at that point consisted of the dam and mostly above ground conveyance canals that delivered water into this area. In 1935, with the global economic recession, the CPR was looking at getting out of the irrigation business in this area. Mm-hmm. So at that time, a group of farmers approached them and offered to take over control of an operation of the irrigation system. Wow. In this area. And so in 1935, the Eastern Irrigation District was formed by a group of farmers led by Carl Anderson. And from that point forward, it has been a farmer-owned organization and operated by the farmers.
Wow, that was a good vision. I think they did very well. I think that's, so they unite into the sense of taking over from the CPR.
That's right. Yeah, so the CPR did hand over to them the Bazzano Dam, all of the canals that had been built, the reservoirs at that time, as well as the Brooks Aqueduct. The existing land that the CPR still owned in this area in 1935 was transferred over to the EID. And at that time, the CPR also threw in $300,000 cash to help the farmers cover their first year operating costs. So in 1935, it was a very good deal. And from that point forward, the farmers have made it quite a successful endeavor in being able to continue supplying that irrigation water and continuing to make the system efficient for our irrigators such as Neil.
Wow, and it's still owned by the farmers.
That's correct.
Okay, so you said you were in the EID board member for what, 20 years?
Yeah.
And what was the prime task of the board of the EID?
The prime task is just to set policy. The district is a $1 billion corporation. With
Wow.
its land base. It's very, very unique. It has a huge social responsibility because it owns all the land in the area, which it takes quite seriously. And the board administers that, chooses your managers, try and hire the best people possible to run that type of operation, and step back and let the good people there run it.
What about the buildings that used to own by CPR behind the library?
Well, those were donated.
Oh, they were donated.
Yeah, as the district grew, the board at that time chose to give that building to the town or sell it to the town, and then moved on to new offices. The district at one time owned everything around here, so.
Wow.
But that's part of their social responsibility
Yeah,
to
yeah.
provide a library, to provide a better standard of living for everybody in the area, not
No,
just the farmers.
No, they're doing very great. I think EID is investing to the community, and you can see that from their engagement.
Yeah, well, that was always it was, and I think still is, a pretty strong mandate of any board that's there.
Okay. So they still own land within the county and Brooks then?
They're the biggest landholder in the county.
Wow.
The district is a huge landholder. Like Margaret was referring to there, they own 600,000 acres of native grass, which is a tremendous asset because the district generates revenue off surface lease, which makes this one of the prime irrigation districts in North America. We're lucky enough to be blessed with huge cash flow from the oil and gas, boards that have always put the money back into the community, back into the ditches, and it's starting to show. I mean, this is wonderful in this area.
No, I think that has been hard working through many people in the EID and their vision at the time, which is a great vision because we have oil and gas and then we have agricultural.
Yeah.
So
The two go well together.
they go together. So if one is down, the other one is something that, the community can lay down to fall back to.
Yeah.
And that's you mentioned the Bazzano Dam. How long that has been built? Since 1914?
The Bazzano Dam, they completed construction in 1914, yes. Through the years, there have been some upgrades. Notable upgrades were undertaken in 1986. So the actual look of the dam changed significantly, but from 1914 until the mid-1980s, it stayed the operation, and the facade of the dam stayed relatively the same. In 1986, there was a major upgrade done. Gates were replaced, and the dam was completely electrified at that time. Prior to that, there was non-electric motors. They were actually diesel motors that would manipulate the gates. And in 1986, that electricity was brought in, and electric motors were put on those gates. So at that time, it brought the dam right into the technology of the day.
Wow.
In 2009, the district did another upgrade at the dam. And that entailed essentially automating the dam. So putting in the computer controls so that our dam supervisor can actually fire up his laptop and see what's going on out at the dam, and if he needs to manipulate any of the gates, he can do that from anywhere within the district boundaries.
Wow.
So we're right at the leading edge of technology with it, and it helps the dam supervisor ensure that the amount of water that is being diverted is right on the money with what we need, so we are being as efficient as we can with our diversions in being as close to meeting the demand in our district as we can.
Wow, that's good. The I believe 2013 we had the flood,
We did.
which damaged also same thing with High River. We were lucky. I got forbid nothing from this side. What are the chances of the dam, for example, if you have similar problem in the near future?
Well, during the 2013 flood, we were extremely concerned for the dam.
Yeah.
As you know, it's been classed as the flood of the century.
Yeah.
In that particular flood, we saw flows that were probably 45% higher than any other previous flood that had been recorded on the Bow River. So we were concerned. We do have contingency plans in place.
Okay.
To ensure that damage to the dam could be minimal. We did come very close to putting those emergency provisions in place, and what it would entail is on the dike that is associated with the dam upstream, we would have had to puncture out that dike to kind of create an emergency spillway upstream of the actual dam. So we did start that process. Luckily, the water started to recede, and we did not have to put that plan in place. But because of what happened in 2013, we are very close to starting construction on an actual proper concrete emergency spillway. And that will ensure that if we do have a flood similar to what we experienced in 2013, that we will be able to control the water upstream of the actual dam a little bit better, and it will ensure the security of the dam for this area. Because as you know, not only do we supply water to our agricultural producers, but we supply water for a lot of other individuals, residents, and industries in this area. All the potable water within the county of Newell is sourced through our dam. The EID conveys it so that to Lake Newell, so that the water treatment plant can then take it from there and distribute it out to all of the residents in this area. We have feedlots in this area that rely on that dam so that they can again have water supplies for their cattle. We have Ducks Unlimited projects for wetlands. We also have 13 reservoirs, the 3 larger ones that are used for a lot of water recreation for residents in this area. So the benefits of having that dam in place are very significant for this area of southern Alberta. And if we didn't have it, it would be a very different place.
Would JBS part of that?
JBS, yes. JBS as well receives their water for the plant from the dam and through the canals.
Wow. Wow, that's extremely important
Yes.
To maintain. Yeah, Neil, the group that founded back then the idea of forming the EID, led by
Carl Anderson.
Yeah. Was it a vision from him, or was it a collective vision at the time, or how the idea they came up with, or they thought maybe let's try this?
Well, Carl was a pretty powerful man. I'm sure it wasn't just his vision, but the district either had to come together and work together and make it work, or fold up. And they came together as a board and a group and created the vision to help out the farmers, which at that time they really had to. There was a lot of smaller immigrant farmers here, and things weren't going very well. The district was kind of the leader in the whole area.
So when you say immigrants, they were not new Canadians then?
Everyone's a new Canadian
There
at
you
one
go.
point or another. My grandfather came from the States, and everyone in this area is only 2 generations from another country.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I thought that was more than that.
1900, 2, 3 generations would catch everybody.
The people from this region.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Not all Alberta then.
not all Alberta, no.
Okay. Okay. Wow. That's a. So, was he from Scandia?
He was from Nebraska. He farmed in Scandia. Actually, he was my grandmother's cousin.
Okay.
They came from a place called Hershey in Nebraska, and came here in I think he came in 1918, 1920.
Wow. So he was original American then. He moved
Yeah.
from the States.
Yeah, he came to Scandia, and a lot of the people from that area were from the States. Like my grandfather came from an irrigated area down there, up here for the new land.
Wow. Yeah, Nebraska. Yeah, that's a farm area also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very similar to here. Irrigation, prairie, cattle. It's just there's a lot of people down there, and they had to move.
Yeah, I think I think JBS has a plant there, which is not far from.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
In Lincoln.
yeah. I think I've been there. It's a farm area, very similar to this region.
Yeah.
Small, beautiful area, farm, very friendly people too, and they have very similarity in this region. When it comes. Okay, so he came 1920 from Nebraska.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I think we should watch that documentary then.
Yeah, it's very well done, and I can say that the committee in Scandia that produced that did a very, very good job on that documentary.
So when he came, then he settled in Scandia then. Oh, okay, okay. There is also a honey factory, I believe, in Scandia. There is a honey
There's a honey producer there.
producer
Yes.
That was,
in Scandia.
yeah, that's in Scandia.
Oh, okay. So he was part of that group that approached the Canadian Pacific Railway to take over.
He was a spokesman for the group, yeah.
Oh, he was spokesman for the.
Yeah.
Does he still have a family left here then? Does he have still or?
I don't know if there's any of his relatives left here or not. I don't think so.
Oh, okay, I see. I think that was a good vision for the group to take over from CPR. Otherwise, not to do that, I think, would have a consequences of them pulling out without giving any opportunity to the group of the program. So, what are the other engagement that EID has within the community as a social responsibility?
Social responsibility, well, they always try to give back to the community. They are always looking for projects that they can collaborate with other organizations on. So some of the larger ones that they've done is the Silver Sage Agribition site.
Wow.
That is actually EID-owned land that the Silver Sage sits on, and the EID worked with the county and the city to develop that whole area with the Centennial Regional Arena and the Kinsman Rodeo grounds so that it could serve as a place that had all of the features that would be needed for large events, large-scale events. Some of the other things they've done, they've recently donated some money to the city of Brooks with the renovations that are going on at the Leisure Center here in town. So the EID, the Aquatic Center will be known as the EID Aquatic Center. And some of the other things that were done in the past,
Well, we've got
when you were on the board, Neil?
our flagship campgrounds, which the district is front and center of, Rolling Hills Reservoir Campground, Crawling Valley. The district developed both of them, and they're little crown jewels of the district as far as recreation goes. They've been tremendous successes.
Wow.
And that all goes with the multi-use, with the district giving back. Like instead of a little lake sitting out there at Rolling Hills, you probably got 1,500 people out there enjoying it on every evening of the summer. And it's, as a former board member, and I can speak for every board member that was there, we were really pleased and proud that that turned out the way it did, and it was a real success.
And I think I've been in that area, and I think the community is very humble and appreciate for that effort by the EID.
Well, we raffle off the, how do they do it? The chance to get a site, and there's several hundred people begging to put their money down. So anytime you do that, you've got a success on your hands.
Wow. And also top of that, if I'm not mistaken, the gymnastic in Brooks.
Yes, the gymnastics club, the facility that the club was using was actually part of the old shop area and the shop building of the EID many years ago. So the gymnastics club had used that facility and leased it from the EID for many years. And they decided that they wanted to try to upgrade it. So they were starting to do a fundraising drive, and the EID, when approached and given that information by the gymnastics club, worked with the city and the county again to upgrade that facility so that it is a state-of-the-art facility for all the gymnasts in this area to use.
So the land is owned also by the EID then?
Yes, and the building as well, yes.
Oh,
Yes,
and the building.
yes.
Oh, that's very good. I think that's and also the building just by the library side. I think the used to be Flex Eat or something, whatever you want to call. There is a opposite to the Newell Action Group. I think there is a.
Yep, the EID does own that as well, and they have a lease with the current tenant there. So.
Yeah, it used to be a gymnastic also that area. I think, or there not gymnastic. I think there's
there's an automotive shop there as well.
Yeah, there's a motive shop there. Okay, so that land is also owned by the EID. Wow. Well, they have a lot of investment and a lot of land in the area. I think that's as a board member, as you mentioned, I think that's a giving back to the community. And that's a social responsibility, as a corporate social responsibility. So is it every 3 years they're board members or they have?
Board members are on 3-year terms.
Okay.
Every 3 years, a 7-man board.
Wow.
Which is, yeah, it works pretty good. You get representatives from each area, so you have a broad opinion from every area. Everyone is represented, and they have their meetings once a month, and seems to run fairly well.
Is it all consist from Brooks area or the whole?
The whole area.
The
district's divided into 7 areas, 1 rep from each area.
Oh, okay.
7 divisions.
Is it elected or selected?
No, they're elected.
Oh,
Yeah.
Elected by the people.
By the water users.
Okay, so there is election process then.
Yeah.
Okay, each from one side of the 7. This 7. You said the district is 7 areas.
Yeah.
7 divisions.
7
yes.
divisions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so they elected the one of each division.
Right.
Okay. What's what would you like the viewers to know about EID, and what do you have for students, for example? Do you guys have students to be come summertime and then give them some opportunity?
Yeah, actually, we hire probably about 20 to 25 students in the summer. A lot of those students will work within our construction pool, During the summer months, there's always buried water pipelines that need to be fixed, and there is some rehabilitation that does go on during the summer on some of our drains and things like that. So I'd say the majority of those students are working in a labor capacity within the construction pool. But we do hire individuals to work out at our Rolling Hills Reservoir Campground, as well as our Habitat Development Program, which that's a program that works with our irrigators to plant trees and shrubs to replace those trees and shrubs that might have to be removed when we are doing our rehabilitation activities. So when we are replacing canals with buried water pipelines, or we have to go back in and re-slope and re-armor our canals, sometimes we're doing a lot of damage to that naturalized vegetation. So that habitat program actually helps to replace that on our irrigators' private lands.
Wow, wow, that's so. How would the students apply? They just apply during the summertime to EID?
Yeah, usually there is a posting that goes out in the local papers. So if they keep their eyes open, then there is a call for applicants, and there is obviously an interview process that you have to go through.
Good, no, that's good. So what would you like to say to the viewers in terms of the EID water, keeping the water, the taps, or the viewers? What would you like to tell them?
Well, just that water, fresh water on the planet is an extremely rare commodity in some areas. It's beginning to get that way here. And every year the district becomes more efficient. We're irrigating twice as many acres now with the same water that we had in 1935. To preserve that resource, grow more with less. They're doing an excellent job of that. And people don't realize when you just come into Brooks and into the area what it would be like without the district here. Like, just imagine no trees. The drive between Brooks and Medicine Hat would be typical. There'd be nothing here but prairie.
Yeah.
A few gas wells. It's a miracle is what it is. It's really a miracle out in the middle of nowhere.
You said that you hit the nail on the head, I think, and people are listening. Same thing with Margot. You want to give your final thought of that water stuff?
Final thought, I think I'd have to agree with Neil.
Okay.
The EID does put a lot of money into their rehabilitation program, and I think that's very important. But the farmers of the area also put a lot of investment into making sure that they are increasing efficiencies in their operations by installing more efficient irrigation systems. And I think that the farmers of this area really deserve a kudos for doing that.
Well, there you go. I don't have a hat, but we take our hats off for the well done job by the EID. And thank you very much. And we are very honored to have both of you. And I will hope to have you sometime in the near future. And thank you very much. We appreciate, as a new Canadian, welcome to Brooks again on account of New. Thanks, Margot. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is the end of the program. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you will join us next time. Until then, I'm Kasim from Red Roof Studio from Dutch. Take care. God bless you all.